Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel, and we're gonna have some fighting words. Before we go any further, I need you to like this video and also subscribe to the channel. So in this video, I want to talk about the Conor Benn versus Adrian Granados fight. It was a good fight. It lasted longer than I thought it was going to last. So basically, the way they were talking in the press conference, Adrian Granados was like, I'm coming for it. Like, I'm a Mexican warrior. Like, I'm coming to get it. And Conor Benn, if you say something like that to him, that necessarily just works in his favor. I mean, he's not the slickest boxer in the world, and he certainly isn't the smoothest boxer in the world, or, the flashiest for that matter. So if you say you're just coming straight at him and you're coming for war, that's going to work in his favor. The fight was interesting. Adrian Granados boxed like Adrian Granados. Does he back up? He's more of a defensive fighting type of guy. He's defensive minded. That's what he is. That's what I meant to say. He's defensive minded. It's what he always does. I mean, he was backing up against Adrian Broner, and we all know Adrian Broner won't throw any punches, But that's just kind of how he is. He's more of a cautious thinking fighter. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And unfortunately, he gets the bad end of the stick, because there have been fights that I thought that he won that, they said that he lost when it came down to the decisions. So with this fight, what did you have? You have classic Conor Benn, head hunting, literally overhand rights, just over and over and over again. And a lot of times when he does that, he oversteps. He oversteps a lot, actually. And he was off balance, but because Granados isn't a counter puncher, he couldn't really capitalize on it. Not to mention, he didn't want to get in range to get clipped with something, so he would just let him slide with it. Granados was doing some great body work. And he's not known for his body work, but he was getting in some body shots. I will definitely say that Conor Benn took them well, but I'd say by the end of the fight, we can clearly see that he was frustrated. I mean, he's sticking out his chest and pumping his chest like he's King Kong or something like that. And he was frustrated. Now it could just simply be where you said you're going to do something and then you get here and you don't do it. Now, you and I all know that's all talk. Everybody says stuff like that in the press conference. That's how it's called marketing, and it's called selling a fight. That's all it is. It's marketing and selling a fight. Does it really mean he's going to show up and do that? Does it really mean that he's gonna lay something down, and he hasn't laid anything down in like 7 years in the ring? So like, what would make you think he's going to come out, to the other end of the world and go knock out the younger, stronger, bigger guy? It's probably not going to happen. And in fact, it did not happen. He was his same self. Granados did believe that he won the fight. So here's my thoughts on the decision. Could it have been a split decision? Yes. For Benn. A unanimous decision? I think the hometown boy got a little favor. That's what I think. Like I said, it wasn't the cleanest fight in the world. And sometimes, okay, a perfect example with this fight is kind of like going back to Canelo and Triple G1. What exactly are you looking for? Are you looking for somebody who's busy? Are you looking for somebody who's aggressive? Are you looking for somebody who's just coming forward? Are you looking for damage? Are you looking for shot output? What exactly are you looking for? Do you count jabs the same way that you would count a body shot? Do you count a jab the same way you count an overhand right? That's what you need to ask, because you look at the Canelo fight with Triple G, jabs meant absolutely nothing in the world. Then you look at like somebody like Joe Joyce, and jabs mean everything in the world, and those jabs add up. But then you look at this fight, and you see one guy who is super aggressive, coming forward the whole time, throwing bombs, and he's actively protesting in the ring, like, let's get it, let's fight. And I think I think the judges, that's impressive as well. Somebody who says, or is making a scene like, oh, I want this. Okay, I'm here for this, and I'm ready to die for this, and be all ecstatic and eccentric about it, which is great. Do I think a little bit of role playing in the ring helps with somebody making a decision in the end? Possibly. Again, are we looking at damage? Because both of them look pretty much the same. Granados was a little bit more bruised, but then again, he's lighter. So that doesn't say a whole lot. Just me being a man of color. If you hit me, you're not going to see the bruises as well as you would see it in somebody who's lighter skinned. So that doesn't really mean a whole lot either. After the fight, Granados was like, yo, that's me all day. Listen, Granados was making a miss. You got to call a spade. And I'm actually probably one of Conor Benn's biggest fans and biggest supporters. I love that dude. I love his father. I just like the way he fights. I like his enthusiasm. But I think this fight was very, very telling in terms of where his skills was. Prior to this fight, Conor kept talking about Melo, and Sean Porter fought for Melo, and they went the distance. And he's like, well, I did a better job than Sean Porter. I'm like, not really. Sean Porter beat the living tar out of Melo for round 1 to the last round. It wasn't even close. And keep in mind, when they fought, the world was shut down. In which case, Sean Porter needed those rounds under his belt. That's all it was. He was just trying to get some rounds under his belt. He wasn't trying to take Melo out. Melo was like a fly on the wall to Sean Porter. He was not trying to take him out. And if that's what you're gauging your skill level on, I think we need to be a little bit more honest. Melo is not in the top 10. If we just want to be honest with where we are in the world, Melo is not the upper echelon of the welterweight division. But I understand that. Now you get in there with Adrian Granados, which he's been in there with Robert Easter. He's been in there with Sean Porter. Again, he's been in there with Adrian Broner. Again, styles make fights. And let's put it like this. Every time Granados is in the ring, he seems to be in there with people who are like brawlers and maulers. Adrian Broner, he's slick, but he's a brawler. He's a brawler. If he's in a pocket, he will stay there all day. He's comfortable there. He'll stay there all day. He'll stay on the ropes all day. He's comfortable in that spot. He's comfortable close. Sean Porter, say no more. Brawler and mauler, both. Conor Benn, brawler and mauler, both. So Adrian Granados is not going to look good with those styles. Now, granted, you got to fight everybody. If they're in your division, you got to fight them. So I'm not saying, go fight somebody who's going to make you look good. But I'm also saying it is a gauge. It is a gauge. Because if you look at the Granados and Sean Porter fight, Granados, after a while, started doing his thing. Same thing with Adrian Broner. But again, I'm just going to slight Adrian Broner for that because he don't throw his hands. He don't throw enough. He doesn't throw enough in a round. Now you have Conor Benn. Every punch can't be a bomb. Some of these punches have to be fillers. Sometimes you just got to keep the jab out there so you know where a guy is. Keep him busy with something. Let him stare at this for a while. But don't just punch and punch and punch and just throwing these looping shots. And Granados was like, nope. I think he got hit with maybe 3-4 punches max in the fight that were really significant bombs. That was about it. I'm sorry, that was about it. And he was doing a pretty good job touching up Conor Benn's body. Do I believe Conor Benn won the fight? Absolutely. Do I think they should fight again? I think if I was Adrian Granados, I would be unanimous decision. I don't know about that. And I would, if I were him, I would probably protest. Why don't we do it again? They actually spoke after the fight, and Conor Benn let it be known we're not fighting again. So so Adrian was like, hey, we'll do it again down the road. And Conor, quick to the lip, he was like, we're doing what again? We're not fighting again because we're not going to do this again. This was boring and nobody liked it. And I'm not gonna get. I mean, you seen at the end of the fight, he was frustrated. So, will they be fighting again? Doubt it. Seriously, doubt it. Could there be an argument that they should fight again? If I was Granados, I'd be like, hey, you didn't look that good, and I exposed you. Or I would play to that to try to force something to happen. But enough about those two, because let's be honest, that ain't gonna happen again. And Conor made it more than clear that ain't gonna happen again. So let's talk about what Conor said he wanted next. He said he wanted Robert the Ghost Guerrero or Victor Ortiz. Vicious Victor Ortiz. All right, not to be confused. Vicious Victor Ortiz. Those are two fights I think that are tailor-made for him. Two guys who'd bring it, and they'd bring it right to his face and wouldn't have any problem with that. I definitely think that Victor Ortiz is a much better boxer than Conor Benn. But the way his career has been, it's very up and down, and I think Conor would catch him. You know, it's Victor Ortiz, so you never really know where he is in his personal life. But he can fight. He can definitely fight. But still, you just don't know where he is in his personal life. And sometimes, you know, you bring that stuff into the ring. And then you have Robert the Ghost Guerrero. I don't know about that either. It would be an amazing fight, though. I'll tell you that. It'll be an amazing fight. If Conor Benn wanted to come over to America and go to Vegas or someplace and fight Robert the Ghost Guerrero or Victor Ortiz, I am all in for that. I'm paying for that because I know that's going to be, as the English would say, a tear up. But then he went a little further. He said, well, Ugas. And I'm like, all right, first and foremost, Ugas just beat Manny Pacquiao, a legend. Okay, you just beat Adrian Granados. Let's put things in context. Ugas beat up Manny Pacquiao. You went the distance with Adrian Granados. I'm not going to say you beat him up. So no, I don't think you get to call out Ugas. And I don't think you're ready for Ugas either. I don't think you're ready for Ugas. I think that's a horrible idea. You know, I think, and I'm not to put him down, but I think if Ugas were, let's just say if Ugas were to entertain that fight, I think it would be bad for Conor Benn, and I think it'd be bad for his stock. I think we need to do a little bit more crawling before we start. How about we do some more walking before we do any running? How about that? We'll just say it like that. Continue to walk before we start running, because I don't think you're ready for Ugas. Ugas did that in a few days' notice to a legend, and now you're talking about you want that? I understand why you want that. I mean, I understand you can get a belt out of it. You can also get a lot of money out of it. But let's be honest, you're not ready for that. You say you want vicious Victor Ortiz or Robert the Ghost Guerrero. I am all in. And I actually believe you will have success. You know, you will have success. I really do believe that. I believe Victor Ortiz, you could more than likely take out. The Ghost, it just, you know, he's older, but he looked good against Victor Ortiz. But he is older, so I'm going to leave that at that. But I want to know your thoughts. What do you think is next for Conor Benn? Who do you think is next for Conor Benn? I want you to drop your thoughts down below. And as always, like and subscribe.